Hi. Sorry, kind of, fell off the face of the earth there, didn't I? For 5 years. Oops. I'm gonna cut right to it and skip the awkward welcome back because I want to talk about something important to me today. Something important enough to break 5 years of silence. Self-esteem and how to obtain it. Low self-esteem is something that I've struggled with my entire life. It actually played a part in the founding of this channel. I was a 16-year-old atheist in a religious school who was being outcast, and I wanted a place where I was taken seriously. The thing is, none of the discussions about self-esteem resonate with me. They're for people whose parents didn't give them unconditional love, or people who struggle to achieve compared to their peers, and I'm neither of those. So why? Why do I hate myself? It's not as if there aren't things to hate about myself. There's a lot, and that's the problem. I can't ignore these things, but when you talk about these feelings with friends, you're talking to someone who already likes you, who doesn't see those qualities that you hate. And when someone doesn't understand what it is that you don't like about yourself, it's hard for them to help in any meaningful way. So I ended up alone. My main priority was never to be liked. I wanted to be seen for who I truly was, and none of my friends could do that. Every time they insisted that I wasn't as bad as I thought, it was something of a backhanded insult. But at the same time, I was terrified of having my inadequacies confirmed by other people, as if I was clinging to some thread of hope that I really was just imagining them. And I was 15 before I ever admitted to liking girls, and 18 before I finally confessed to someone that I had feelings for them. And even then, I did it knowing that she didn't like me. You know, I remember when I was 17, a friend of mine made a bet with one of her friends. I don't recall what the bet was about, but I do remember if her friend lost, she'd have to date me. It didn't mean anything harmful by it, but it stuck with me, you know? That's what I was. A bogey prize. Eventually I did get a girlfriend, but my low self-esteem caused a plethora of narcissistic, insecure behaviors that led to me ultimately emotionally abusing her. One night, she got up to go to the bathroom, and I locked her out the bedroom. She sat on the floor outside, crying, telling me that she loved me, that she was sorry for whatever it was that upset me. And I left her out there for half an hour. The worst part? I knew what I was doing. I knew how hurtful it was. I even felt bad about it. But I did it anyway. You can see why this video took 5 years for me to make. She actually felt bad about ending that relationship. She felt guilty. How messed up is that? The problem with most discussions about self-esteem is they talk about self-love, they talk about self-forgiveness, but how do you forgive that? How do you love that? How do you take the conversation seriously when you really do deserve to be hated? If any of this resonates with you, if any of the advice that you've been given sounds like the empty rhetoric of a self-help book, I want to present an alternate blueprint. The one that helped me, the one that I wish someone had told me 5 and 10 years ago, in the hopes that it might be able to help some of you. The first step is to embrace your hatred. This might sound counterproductive, but there is a genuine purpose behind it. So far, everyone else in the world has probably been telling you that your feelings aren't legitimate, that you shouldn't hate yourself. But if you're identifying qualities that you genuinely hate, pretending that they don't exist, it's simply going to trap you in your own despair. It's easy to be seduced into blaming our failures on the world around us, claiming that nobody loves us because all men are pigs or women only date assholes. And in doing so, we continue to push those who could love us away, turning our animosity into a self-fulfilling prophecy. By identifying our flaws, we've discovered something valuable about ourselves and taken the first steps towards realizing our vision of who we ought to be. And I'm not gonna lie, I've walked this path for 10 years. It is a hard road. Progress is slow. You won't always know how to improve. You'll relapse into old habits you thought you'd beat. You'll discover new things you hate along the way. And all of those feelings will linger until not only you change, but also realize that you've made that change. And it will take years of self-doubt before that happens. But never forget that the ability to own up to our faults shows a humility, bravery, and honesty that we can rely on even in our darkest moments. If we are going to truly break away from those habits, we need to break from our past. How many of us feel like we're the same person that we were at 15? How many of us really think that we haven't changed from 5, 10, 15, 20 years ago? If we've been growing and evolving, we probably are very different people. Yet we still hate ourselves for mistakes that we made as those past personalities. For someone like me who prides myself on being a reasonably logical thinker, it makes no logical sense to hate myself for something that I would never do as my current self. I don't have to forgive those past transgressions. They deserve loathing, and I will never forget them. But a different me did those things. And I have learned from them and paid for them in years of self-hostility and all of the missed opportunities that came with it. If we're convinced to forever harbor a hate of ourselves for things that we did in our past, then there's no chance to redeem ourselves in the future. We need to start judging ourselves for who we are right now, in this moment. This is all part of a process of developing self-empathy. We have a tendency to hold ourselves to higher standards than others. Often we'll note the success of those around us while brushing off our own achievements. We relate to those who've wronged us and understand what compels them to their actions, yet we never extend the same courtesy to ourselves. If we really were so monstrous, so irredeemable, we wouldn't hate ourselves to begin with. Our hatred reveals the existence of a morality and ambition deep within us that we wouldn't betray without cause. Understanding those causes, the reasons for our failures, it helps us appreciate just how human they are. And maybe that's not so different from forgiveness. That leads to the final step: self-acceptance. For me, this is the final goal, and if I'm honest, it's the thing that I'm still working on. But I think I know how to get there. Not love, not forgiveness, just acceptance. Acknowledging that we are not singled out, that we are not uniquely flawed, that our pain, imperfections, and struggles for connection are shared by people throughout the world and throughout history. Acceptance means coming to terms with our humanity. It's a natural result of keeping ourselves in perspective. The wisdom of our own self-hatred comes from realizing just how normal our inadequacies truly are. It should make us kinder, more forgiving, more compassionate. Acceptance means embracing the idea that we can be loved, that we can bring joy to others despite our failings, and allowing ourselves to open up, be vulnerable, and feel that affection. By allowing ourselves to be loved, we can let others feel the love we have for them. And hopefully, one day, maybe they can show us how to love ourselves in kind. I just want to take a minute at the end of the video here to thank all of the old subscribers who came back after a 5-year absence to share in this quite personal and important topic for me, and I hope that there is someone out there that benefits from some of the things that I've picked up over the years. I don't know if this means I'm going to be making videos again, but I do know most of the comments over the past 5 years are people wondering where I've been, saying they miss my content, hoping I'm not dead, and I don't want to leave you guys with nothing, so I thought you'd let you know over the past year I've started streaming on Twitch. I go by my new name now, NanoNas, because let's be honest, Glitchology really wasn't the best name that I could have come up with. And Twitch is fun. I'm just as dumb and silly and pseudo-intellectual over there than I am on this channel. And it's a super small community. There's only ever like 1 or 2 people there at any given moment. So if any of you guys do want to come hang out, say hi, and catch up, you are more than welcome at any point. I'll put the details up on the screen for you guys and a link down in the description box. Take care, guys. See you around.